Show. You do not want to miss a second of today's program, I promise you. We're covering a lot today. Just doing a check on the phones. I always do a check on the phones before we go on the air. And a couple of the things I'm going to talk about in the beginning are things that everyone should be talking about in the news, but the news are ignoring. Here we go. It's showtime. All right. It sure is. Welcome to the program. It is Thursday already. Can you believe it? My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 47 years on the radio this year. Oh, man, we've got a lot to cover today. There's a lot of news stories in the news this morning, but there are two major stories that broke yesterday that the media have already disappeared, and one of them is right down the street from the radio station. Big story I'm going to get into in just a bit. A major national story, right? I'm not kidding, right? Literally down the street from our radio station, and it's big. We're going to talk about that, but big story yesterday in this Trump Georgia case. And I'm watching the news early this morning. I don't even usually watch, the cable news and stuff in the mornings before I come in. It's all reruns and dated and, third-rate people and such on there. But I wanted to see how they covered this story, and it's not even being reported. And it's these charges being tossed out by this judge in Fulton County against President Trump. And what a lot of people are going to tell you, this is one of those times when fake MAGA gets smoked out. And, and so far as media bias, obviously, there, an example of media bias is a spin on a story, right? They take an angle on a story to further an agenda. That's media. Most media bias is something most people never pick up on. The most common example of mainstream corporate media bias is what stories they do not report. Okay? And these charges that were tossed out by this judge, and by the way, this is the judge that we've seen on TV the last few weeks in the Fani Willis gigolo boy toy hearings. He's the one that tossed out these charges, and he tossed out 3 of the charges against Trump. And a lot of people say, well, there's a bunch of other charges, and he didn't do it all, and I'm sitting, What he tossed out was the phone call. One of the 3 things, he tossed out 6 charges, 3 of them involved President Trump, but one of the charges he dropped out was the phone call. The phone call is Fani Willis's so-called evidence. If you have no evidence, you've got nothing. And the media don't want to tell you that. But I'm going to tell you that. And, out of all of these cases against President Trump, the one that they thought was the big one they were going to get him on was this Fulton County BS case. First, most of what they're doing in their lawfare against President Trump are federal crimes. Like President Trump's going to be in court in Fort Pierce today. By the way, when President Trump goes to Fort Pierce, does he drive there? Or does he fly in his helicopter? Fort Pierce is not a short drive from Palm Beach. It's not. It's not a long drive. But it's probably longer than President Trump takes these days. Well, won't be long. He'll be taking Marine One again everywhere he goes, right? Man, I used to love it when President Trump was in his first term and President Trump would go to Miami. Marine One would fly over my house all the time. It was so cool. I got a lot of pictures and video of that. But anyway, this judge threw out the phone call. Now, a thing about the phone call, it was found out recently, was illegally recorded. The person that recorded the call was not in Georgia. They were in Florida. And Florida has a two-party consent rule. You can't record private phone calls unless you disclose it and the other person on the other end of the line consents, and the person who recorded the call didn't tell anyone they were recording it and didn't ask for consent. So the call was illegally recorded, but regardless, without evidence, which is, not that it was, but there's so-called evidence, the phone call, the whole case is gone. The entire case is gone. Yeah, it's about 45 minutes to an hour from Mar-a-Lago to Fort Pierce, depending on traffic and how fast you drive. I just can't imagine President Trump driving an hour each way. Maybe he does. I don't know. But the media, when this story broke yesterday, that the judge tossed out the phone call. Oh, the phone call. How many times have you heard that nonsense played on TV? The media reported it yesterday live. I saw it on Twitter, X. And I was like, what? I saw someone tweet about it. There was no story written yet. And I'm like, this is amazing, but there's no story. And it took an incredibly long time by today's media standards to get a story out there on it. And I was in shock. And then as soon as I had confirmation that the phone call had been tossed out, that's it. I turn on the news, and they mentioned it kind of like, oh, yeah, by the way, in other news, the Fulton County judge tossed out 6 charges in the Trump RICO case, 3 of them against President Trump, and one of them happens to be in the phone call. And then they start doing human interest stories talking about nonsense, and this was all the cable news, including Fox. So that's the evidence. The judge tossed out the evidence in the RICO case. That is so big. And the Fulton County case, the reason that they thought this was going to be the big one is because it's a local charge. The other cases, like the documents case in Fort Pierce today, these are federal charges, which Trump in January could pardon himself from, and everyone involved. And I hope he does it, except Jenna Ellis. Don't pardon Jenna Ellis. She's a traitor. But it's big. And I check out the news this morning. They're not even reporting it. They're not even discussing it. They're not even referencing it because they don't want you to know. And all these cases are falling apart. The documents case in Fort Pierce is on the verge of being dismissed. It could be dismissed today by the judge in Fort Pierce. I'm not saying it is going to be dismissed today, but she is building up to tossing out that case. And she'll do it with, what was it, with prejudice or without prejudice, when they can't come back and charge again? So that case in Fort Pierce is about to be dismissed. If not today, it will be. The D.C. January 6th case, that's falling apart because even Merrick Garland and his corrupt FBI cleared Trump of any wrongdoing on January 6th. The E. Jean Carroll, that's going to fall apart on appeal, that lunatic, because of the mistreatment of Trump. And I was talking about this yesterday on my podcast. The property value ruling, that's about to be tossed out too for a bunch of reasons. But yesterday, I was on my Instagram, and we're in Palm Beach Gardens here at the radio station, and my Instagram feed, you know how Instagram works, how it connects to wherever you're located and gives you stuff in your area. Instagram pushed out to me an Instagram story on Howard Stern's mansion in Palm Beach. It's on Palm Beach Island. And Howard Stern's mansion, do you know what Howard Stern's mansion's valued at? Do you know what this is? Oh my goodness. Howard Stern's Palm Beach mansion is valued at $500 million. So, a little more than that, actually. So, and it's a big house. Don't get me wrong, it's a huge mansion on the ocean, but it's not Mar-a-Lago. So how can Howard Stern's house be worth over $500 million in the latest valuation? But Letitia James and that corrupt weirdo judge that sexually harasses like some pervert at the gym, young women, but Mar-a-Lago's worth $13 million, right? So everything that they brought up against President Trump is falling apart. But the phone call being tossed out in Fulton County is huge news. It's one of those things where there should be breaking news sounders and all of that, but they don't want to report it properly because they don't want people to know that Trump's been cleared. So you got to understand, the Uniparty hasn't given up on Trump just because he now has the nomination locked up for sure because of these primaries a couple nights ago. Doesn't mean that the Uniparty and the fake news media and all of that have given up. And what they're doing is not reporting the significance of what happened yesterday. The phone call being tossed out is huge. That's all if you've got no evidence, how can you charge on any of the other stuff? You can't, right? Evidence has been tossed. So this is just a huge day. We've got a lot to cover. Your calls are certainly welcome on this and everything else that I bring up as I bring it up on the program today. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. I'm very curious, how is Howard Stern's house worth $500 million, but Mar-a-Lago's worth $13 million? I'd like somebody to explain that to me. How's that possible? Mar-a-Lago's much bigger. It's a national landmark. A president lives there. All that stuff, and it's on a better piece of real estate, too, and it's much larger. But Howard Stern's house is worth. I bet Baba Booey Gary is pissed off when he finds out that Howard has a $500 million house here in Palm. I mean, they know he's got a mansion down here, but they probably didn't know it was that much. All right, we'll take our break and be back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right. Oh yeah, every single case against President Trump is falling apart. All of them. In fact, every single. Okay, hold on, I get it. Very important. Okay, where is this other story? I got so many stories to cover today, so the first couple I did talk about on my podcast last night. I usually don't talk about here what I talk about on the podcast, but a couple stories are so big, I've got to. We have a little more details on them. All right. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And, of course, if you're already subscribed, like the video. You're welcome to call in. The number's toll-free no matter where you're watching, and it's pinned to the top of the chat. All right, we'll get to this one next. All right, we'll be back shortly. All right, we're coming back in 6 seconds.
In the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, Harrison Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True Oldies.
All right, if you're on hold, stand by. I'm Brian, it's Steve Kane Show. So just to recap the first segment before we get to the calls and bring up some other stuff. Big story yesterday broke, media totally covering it up. 3 of the charges against Trump in Fulton County were dropped. And one of those 3 was the phone call. Totally out now. And that's the evidence. So they've got nothing. They've got no, that phone call, there was nothing wrong in that phone call. President Trump didn't commit a crime in that phone call. Nothing was wrong in it. But that's what Fani Willis said was the evidence that proved all these crimes happened, that they've charged Trump and the others with in Fulton County. The judge tossed out the evidence, the phone call. That is huge. So if anyone tells you, what, they got other charges, they're either fake MAGA or just stupid, okay? Well, let me take a call or two, and then I'll get to the next story. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
You know, you're right. This is big. You know.
Oh yeah.
Fani Willis had nothing, and now she definitely.
I mean, if you have no evidence, you've got, how are you going to prosecute on the other ones? He tossed out the evidence.
He tossed out the evidence, but then again, you still have a fervent anti-Trump judge that may just overlook that.
No, the judge, it's the same. Oh my goodness, God, Mike just wants to be on the air today. Got nothing. He just wants to be on the air. No, it's the same judge. The judge in the case is the one who tossed out the call, the evidence. Oh my gosh. You know, Michael Savage used to talk about this frustration that, like I am oftentimes, Michael Savage would be ahead of the news cycle, sometimes by a couple of weeks and sometimes a month, and it happens to me. And until some people are spoon-fed what the issue is in the news, it's like it didn't happen. They got it, as much as they hate the mainstream media, they need the mainstream media to feed them. No, when you don't, like if there's if there's a murder trial, someone's charged with murder, the evidence they have to prove that that person did the murder is the knife that they committed the murder with, and it has their fingerprints on it. That's all the evidence they get. It's a lot of evidence, the knife, the fingerprints, and then the judge tosses out the knife. So you've got no murder weapon, and you also don't have the fingerprints on the murder weapon of the person you've charged. Now, you may still have them charged with murder, and the judge may not have tossed out the murder charge, but if you don't have the murder weapon with their fingerprints on it, and that's your evidence, how are you going to prosecute the rest of the case? That's what happened here with the judge tossing out the phone call, guys, okay? That's so big. In fact, the reason the media aren't covering it is because they know how big this story is. Sorry for my frustration with Mike, but I mean, this victory yesterday in Fulton County is huge. You know, a lot of people have this standard. I've got to get everything my way or we've lost. Well, then you're a loser. You can never get everything you want. But this is a big thing, okay? This is a big thing. Yeah, I didn't win the whole lottery, but I got 5 numbers, so I got $20,000. I didn't get the million. Okay, you want the million, you got the 20,000 because you got the 5 number. You're never going to get everything. You have to take these victories. But this one really is big. And I feel like I'm the only person. Am I crazy like E. Jean Carroll? I feel like I'm the only person that understands how big that is. All right, 1-888-465-2631. Now, I'm going to wait to get into this next story till after the bottom of the hour break. But there is a major national story happening right here in our own community, just down the street from the radio station. And I'm not exaggerating by that. In fact, where this story took place, I drive by every day to and from the radio station, and it's a national story. I saw it yesterday in our local news, and it's starting to get picked up nationally. And hopefully it'll get picked up more and more nationally because of the significance of it. I'm going to get into that after the bottom of the hour break, okay? But I do want to tell you, free shipping continues at MyPillow.com. You know, when I get that free shipping offer with our promo code Kane at checkout will end without notice. You know, and when I get in here to the studio at the radio station in the morning, I get everything set up. You know, I check and make sure that the phone line is, you know, connected and everything else. That's like my, you know, thing I do. But the last thing I do before I go on the air is check and make sure that the free shipping with our promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, is still in effect, because it will end without notice. And indeed it is. And that is site-wide on anything you order, no matter how large, no matter how small, no matter how light, no matter how heavy. Free shipping with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com. And you'll see that when you go to checkout, by the way. When you get to the checkout phase and you put in your shipping address and all, you'll see free shipping, okay? And you also get the special deal, whatever the discount is. Like the MyPillow that started it all is less than $30 now with our promo code Kane. Huge discount. You get the discount plus free shipping. All right, we'll take our break and be back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning.
I mean, I feel like I'm the only person that sees the significance of that. Bruce, thank you so much. That's awesome, Bruce. I mean, do you guys see it as well? It's very frustrating. I mean, this is something to be celebrating. All right. Unreal. Oh, man.
Opening in the beginning, and then they have like 3 different news stories. The only thing that it just starts off with AI talk, and then it ends.
There's nothing else. Yeah.
That's the first time I've seen ABC News have nothing.
Yeah.
That's how you know.
That's big. Yeah, it's how big it is. They don't even have. Yeah. If it was the other way around, it'd be all over the place.
Yeah. Especially because they're one of the guys I'd love to say former president.
Exactly. Yeah. Any chance. Yeah. All right, we'll be back after this commercial. 33 seconds.
Celebrating 7 years.
All right. Oh, man, what a frustrating day. I tell you, these big news stories. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. Okay, now this next story, this is in our own community. And even if this was not a national story, I would be talking about this because it involves our very own community. I saw this in the local news yesterday. We have our very own Lake and Riley incident here in Palm Beach. 3 illegals from, let me get their country right, like it matters, you know. They're from whatever country they say they're from. Well, let me read the story here, then it'll give us the country. 3 illegals who forced a woman into a car around 1 a.m. Monday and sexually battered her at 2 locations west of Lake Worth Beach are in custody. Now, they abducted her from a park just off of I-95 and Lake Worth Road. And this park is in a nice neighborhood. And they abducted her, and I guess when they say sexually battered, does that mean raped? I can't pronounce all their names, but they're in jail. What country are they from? They have bond at $200,000. Good luck with that. And the sheriff of Palm Beach County, who is, by the way, not just the Palm Beach County sheriff, his name is Rick Bradshaw, and he's been sheriff for a long time. I've lost track. This is like his 5th or 6th term of sheriff that he's in. And he's a Democrat. And, but he's, you know, this guy, he's been a police officer for like over 50 years, so he's kind of like, I don't know, I don't know if the sheriff would agree with this, but Sheriff Bradshaw's like, to me, like a old Florida good old boy, you know. And Palm Beach, a lot of people don't realize this because you got a lot of New Yorkers here, and we've had so many transplants here. But, you know, I've lived in Florida since '82. I've been coming here since '76. And I tell people all the time, I remember when I-95 used to end right here up the road from the radio station. But Palm Beach County, which has been here for a long time, and the rich people have always been coming to Palm Beach for over 100 years, you know, but it's used to be a lot more country than it is these days. Okay, like where I'm standing right now, when I was a kid, this was probably a cow pasture, probably. But anyway, he's an old Democrat, not one of these woke Democrats who's, and he had a press conference yesterday about these 3 illegals who abducted a woman out of a park where children play and sexually battered her, that's got to be rape. And he talked very specifically about who they are and the illegals, and the problem with the violent illegals here in South Florida is far worse than any of us realized. Okay? Far worse than any of us realized. And I'm going to play some of the sheriff's press conference now. And for those, our South Florida listeners here, this is Sheriff Rick Bradshaw. He's been the sheriff of Palm Beach County for a couple of decades. But what's interesting about this is he is a Democrat. And he's also, since he's the sheriff of Palm Beach County, that makes him President Trump's sheriff, since President Trump lives in Palm Beach County, right? And he goes into detail about this crime, the illegals who did it, and the threat that we're facing here in South Florida because of Joe Biden. And by the way, this woman who was kidnapped and sexually assaulted by these animals in Lake Worth on Monday, they're here because of Joe Biden. By the way, where's DeSantis? Where's DeSantis? Why wasn't he here with the sheriff? All right, so listen to this is Sheriff Rick Bradshaw, the Palm Beach County Sheriff, yesterday talking about these illegals who kidnapped and sexually assaulted this woman right down the street.
Morning. I'm just here to deliver a message. And the message is, don't think for a minute that what happens at the Mexican border doesn't affect us here. Here you have 3 illegals that should have never been in this country.
See, this guy's an old-time Democrat. He's calling them illegals. Not newcomers, not undocumented immigrants. He's calling them illegals.
And I'm just here to deliver a message. And the message is, don't think for a minute that what happens at the Mexican border doesn't affect us here. Here you have 3 illegals that should have never been in this country that have committed a very serious crime, kidnapping and sexual battery of a lady. They shouldn't be here. This is the same thing that we saw where the student was killed by the person that was here illegally.
Now, what he's talking about there is Lake and Riley. And remember what Biden said at the State of the Union? How many legal people commit crimes? Oh, okay. Well, I guess, illegals have the opposite. They just have diplomatic immunity then. They can rape, they can kill, they can rob, they can shoot. Because people that are here legally do it, they just have diplomatic immunity if they're illegals and can just have their way. That's what Biden said at the State of the Union.
Why we pay so much attention. Folks, our border is the ocean. There's no fence there. We are the fence. That's why we spend as much time as we do and dedicate resources to stopping people before they get here. In all likelihood, these 3 people came through Mexico. They didn't come through here. I can tell you that for sure. We would check in our database. But for them to be in this country, to be able to commit these type of crimes is unconscionable. The federal government has put the American people in jeopardy.
Okay, so here's the Palm Beach County Sheriff, Rick Bradshaw, who, by the way, I'd love to have here in studio. His office is right down the road here. He's blaming Joe Biden for this woman's abduction and sexual assault. I don't know what sexual battery means. It's an assault. Rape, I don't know. They didn't get into the details. But he's blaming Joe Biden. Says they came here from Mexico and they're bringing him. And by the way, we know they brought him here, right? I thought DeSantis was flying and busting everybody out. Guess not. But it's worse than just this.
Our intelligence section, who works very closely with the FBI, has also identified that the most dangerous gangs in the world are now in Miami from Venezuela.
Oh boy, isn't that great? And you know, I know the most dangerous gangs in the world are in Miami. And here's the thing, okay? Remember when those cops got beat up by those Venezuelan gang member illegals? When that was being discussed, that story's gone away, hasn't it? When that story was being discussed, there were law enforcement experts in the news who were talking about what's happening is, and this was shocking, he says, these Venezuelan gang members, they're from Florida. Well, they're from Venezuela, but they're living in Florida illegally. He says they come to New York to do crime because there's no bail here if they get caught, and they go back to Florida. And also, these gangs operating in Miami. You know, I although I don't talk about it on the show too much because we don't talk about, you know, local issues as much. You know, we talk more about national and world issues on the show. I read the local news crimes all the time. And anytime there's any crime anywhere near where I live, I read it because I want to know what's going on. And there's a lot of crime, shoplifting and stuff. Like if you read a story of someone going into the Boca Town Center Mall and doing shoplifting of expensive purses from a store, they don't usually live in Palm Beach. They usually live in Hollywood or Miami, because these people they come north to do crime for two reasons. One, nobody knows who they are here. People don't want to do crime in their own neighborhood. They might get ID'd. And also, Palm Beach, although Miami is pretty wealthy too, but Palm Beach County is viewed as where the money is. All right, back to the Palm Beach County Sheriff, Rick Bradshaw.
In jeopardy. Our intelligence section, who works very closely with the FBI, has also identified that the most dangerous gangs in the world are now in Miami from Venezuela. They make MS-13 look like school kids.
Okay. Now, they're more dangerous and scarier than MS-13. And if you remember, President Trump in his first term said that the immigration officers were afraid of MS-13. That they were, some of them told President Trump used to talk about this. They're worse than ISIS and Al-Qaeda. They're scarier than them. I looked at the clock, so we'll take our break, and then I'll come back and finish up with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's press conference yesterday. This is huge because we're in jeopardy here because of Joe Biden with these Venezuelan gangs. One of our local women has been kidnapped and sexually assaulted, and that right down the road in Lake Worth. And this guy's also a Democrat, which is another factor that makes this important. And I know we'll get into more details when we get back, all right? I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Have you been to Chowderheads in Jupiter yet?
I mean, this is sick stuff. This is really sick stuff. It really is. And this is just sick. And this is right. I mean, this is... Yeah, I take when I come to work in the morning, if I take the interstate or the Florida Turnpike, I go right by where these monsters snatched up this woman. My goodness. All right, this is our last commercial. We'll be back after this.
But don't just take my word for it. This is Richie the bus driver. He called in on the air to share his experience with Dr. Gupta. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie. Dr. Gupta. I go 139 miles to this guy. I had a broken tooth. He fixed it. It was supposed to be temporary. It lasted 2 years. He put dentures in my mouth that are a lot cheaper than anybody else. And he's excellent and no pain. I recommend this guy. To me, he's the best ever. So I want to get that out of the way.
Listen to Richie the bus driver. Go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is...
All right, we're back. Now, before we get back to this story, I mean, this is, I wasn't going to do this now, but I think it's fitting. We have Venezuelan gangs that are more dangerous than MS-13 in our own community. That's what Sheriff Rick Bradshaw said. Frightening. No better time to call Sloman's and take advantage of this incredible free offer of $1,500 value for a home security system with professional installation when you use Sloman's low-cost central station monitoring. And this is a great deal. You get an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 10 entry points, a lifetime service plan, professional installation, a backup battery, and you also get a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman's Shield. Give them a call. Here's the number, 1-833-283-5050. 1-833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050, all right? Okay, now, let me get back to this. I'm going to play the whole thing again, because it's not that long, and I won't stop it like I did the first time as much, okay? If you're just tuning in to recap, this story is it's a local story that is starting to go national this morning. I've seen it in a couple of national publications. 3 illegals kidnapped a woman who was walking in a park in Lake Worth where children play at 1 a.m., and they've been charged with, I guess, kidnapping and sexual battery, which I don't know what that means. To me, it's all sexual assault and rape. And the longtime sheriff of Palm Beach County, who's a tough guy, this guy doesn't mess around. He's a Democrat, Rick Bradshaw, Sheriff Rick Bradshaw, Donald Trump's sheriff, my sheriff, the sheriff of Palm Beach County, had a press conference, and he's in a rage at what Biden has done, which is, well, what's Biden done? He's got Lincoln Riley killed. He got this woman raped here in Lake Worth. This is what Biden's done. This is Biden's America. So I'll start this press conference over. It's not that long of a clip. I just stopped it a whole bunch of times because it pisses me off, quite honestly, that we're being victimized by, and Joe Biden doesn't care. All he cares is that his junkie kids are set up financially for the rest of their life. That's all he cares about. He's a great dad. All right, back. So this is Palm Beach County Sheriff Rick Bradshaw talking about these illegals.
I'm just here to deliver a message. And the message is, don't think for a minute that what happens at the Mexican border doesn't affect us here. Here you have 3 illegals that should have never been in this country that have committed a very serious crime, kidnapping and sexual battery of a lady. They shouldn't be here. This is the same thing that we saw where the student was killed by the person that was here illegally. That's why we pay so much attention. Folks, our border is the ocean. There's no fence there. We are the fence. That's why we spend as much time as we do and dedicate resources to stopping people before they get here. In all likelihood, these 3 people came through Mexico. They didn't come through here. I can tell you that for sure. We would check in our database. But for them to be in this country, to be able to commit these type of crimes is unconscionable. The federal government has put the American people in jeopardy. Our intelligence section, who works very closely with the FBI, has also identified that the most dangerous gangs in the world are now in Miami from Venezuela. They make MS-13 look like school kids. They're not going to stay just in Miami. They're going to go where they need to go to do what they do. They don't know if it's Dade, Broward, Palm Beach County. They just go to do what they're going to do, and we're going to have to deal with them. You know, forget about the 3 million people that came across the border, put their hands up to Border Patrol and says, I give up. You know, they get the cell phone and the gift card and all that kind of garbage. What about the 1.5 million people that they call gotaways? Those are the people that don't want to go to get caught by Border Patrol because they're cartel, they're gang members, they're wanted, they're packing fentanyl. I watched a surveillance video that was taken down in Texas of 10 guys, military age, dressed in camouflage, backpacks. They had carpet on their shoes so they didn't leave footprints, in a military formation coming into the country. What do you think they're here for? They're not here to play the lotto. They're going to do bad things. The director of the FBI testified that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when we're going to have something bad happen here. Because in the 1.5 million gotaways, he's worried that there's people from ISIS, people from the terrorist watch list that could be in the United States. Our agency is still the lead agency for Homeland Security for all of South Florida. And every 3 months we have a meeting to make sure that we're going to be operationally ready for whatever might happen here in South Florida. But people have to pay attention. We need the help of the public also. Our program, if you know something or see something, say something, is very important now. So if you see something you don't think is right, especially with human trafficking, because there's 85,000 kids that are unaccounted for that came across the border. The human traffickers are going to be the ones that are going to prey on those people. And we've made those cases here in South Florida. So if you really know something or you see something, say something. But my message is, don't be complacent, because what is happening at the Mexican border is going to affect us. Any questions?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. You know, let me play the questions. I mean, I haven't listened to this part of it. It's almost over. Let me see what these are the local reporters. Let me see if the local reporters ask good questions.
Us. Any questions?
Sure. You've been in law enforcement for a number of years. How would you compare this problem to 10, 20 years ago?
Well, I've actually been in law enforcement for 52 years. This is the worst I've seen it. This is, like I said, unconscionable that the federal government has let this happen. These idiots in Washington, D.C. need to close this border. You know, if you got a leak in your house and water's going all over the place, you don't get a bucket and start cleaning it up. You turn the water off and you stop the leak first. In order for this mess to get cleaned up, they've got to stop what's coming across this border, and it can be done.
Okay, that's the end. I mean, yeah, I like that. You know, this is one Democrat I vote for. I don't know if he's either in his 5th or 6th term as sheriff of Palm Beach County. I don't know if when he's up again, if he's running again. I don't know. I want to find out. I'll tell you, I'd vote for this Democrat. You know, and this is a thing. You know, this problem that's going on at the southern border. Every state's a border state. And last week, after the State of the Union, when those disgusting, sleazy women over there on MSNBC, Rachel Maddow, Jen Psaki, Joy Reid, and all the rest were the border. They just don't want white people. They don't want them. No, we don't want our people victimized and raped and murdered, Joy Reid. Sickos. Every state's a border state now. And what he said is right. You know, 3 sides, our wall's the ocean. We're a peninsula. These people they're coming in from Mexico, and they're making their way, or maybe being flown here to Florida in one of these flights that Biden's running all the time. You know, presidents take an oath of office to do several things. But right at the top of the list is to protect the American people against enemies, foreign and domestic, right? There is a violent invasion happening, and Americans are being victimized every second of every day. And it's unifying the country behind Trump, because he's the only one who's going to do all these, comprehensive immigration reform, and, you know, we've got to fix our broken immigration. All they got are talking points and rhetoric and platitudes, you know. And Trump is talking like the sheriff of Palm Beach County here, Bradshaw. You turn the water off and then you fix the leak. And you fix the leak, of course, by calling Tom Laporte at Laporte Contracting. Of course, let's get that in. I think Bradshaw may have said that. I didn't play the rest of the audio. Maybe he did that at the end. But no, this is a big problem, and people in this country are fed up, and it's not safe. And let me tell you, I was telling you guys, I went down to Miami Beach last week. Was it Thursday or Friday? And I couldn't believe what I saw. I talked about this last week on the show. I saw a police chase on I-95 just south of the Golden Glades, and the guy got away. Right in front of my eyes. I couldn't believe it. Got away from the cop. It was Miami-Dade. He was behind him. It was a high-speed chase. And you guys know the Golden Glades is a mess. This was just south of the Golden Glades, and I had just gotten through the Golden Glades, and the car came by, going really fast on the swale, and the cop was after him. They darted across the traffic. The guy that was being chased got into the express lane. This was southbound 95. Got in the express lane. The cop got in the express lane, and boom, that was it. Sirens went off, and he started driving the speed limit. The police officer, the guy got away from him. Now, I've seen crime in Miami, and Miami's had its problems, but I've never seen that before. Not on I-95, not there. Okay, there's a big problem going on in this country. And it's happening, all these problems are happening because this corrupt, senile old coot, Joe Biden, he doesn't give a darn about any of it. Doesn't care. In fact, what his immigration thing that he was trying to pass is to legalize illegal immigration. Oh, then you got no illegal immigration. If you legalize it and it's all legal, then there's no more illegal. Oh, you fixed it. That's brilliant. This is a problem, and I got to tell you, I as a South Florida, this scares me. He says the Venezuelan gangs, they're based out of Miami now. They're more dangerous than MS-13. He says they're the most dangerous gangs in the world, and they're coming to Palm Beach County to do crime, and I'm sure Broward too. When I saw this yesterday, I told my wife, I said, maybe I am going to have to start carrying my concealed weapon since we have concealed carry with no permit in Florida now. And I told my wife, I said, I'm so glad our daughter lives in L.A. now and not here. If my daughter was going to the mall today, I wouldn't let her go alone. It's that dangerous. Courtesy of Joe Biden. And Joe Biden doesn't care. If you talk about it, you're a xenophobic racist. We'll break and be back.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar.
I keep telling you guys, DeSantis sucks. He did some good things in his first term, and he said all the right things, but Florida is really in a bad spot right now, much worse than people realize. Much worse than people realize. We're under attack here. See, one of the I'm going to talk about the. I'll talk about it when we get back because I don't want to repeat myself. I got a little more detail on what they did to this lady. It's frightening. Biden doesn't give a damn.
It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian.
All right, if you're on hold, stand by. I got some more. I want to recap what I've been talking about, and I'm really in a rage over this. And this is a local story that's going national this morning. 3 illegals from Guatemala abducted and sexually assaulted a woman in Lake Worth, and the Democrat Sheriff Bradshaw of Palm Beach County I played a clip of an incredible press conference he gave yesterday. I have a little more information. I'm going to go through this, then we'll take the calls. 1-888-465-2631. Let's see here. This is from one of the local news stations. 3 undocumented immigrants. Oh, my goodness. Here they go with that again. I'm surprised they don't call them newcomers. They're illegal aliens. And by the way, the sheriff said we have the most dangerous gangs from Venezuela in the world based out of Miami, operating all over South Florida, more dangerous than MS-13, the sheriff said. 3 undocumented, I'm reading from the local news here, so it's obviously lib. 3 undocumented immigrants from Guatemala are accused of forcing a woman into a vehicle and sexually battering her at 2 locations. Oh my goodness. Just west of Lake Worth Beach. The Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office said. The abduction occurred at 1 a.m. Monday in a residential area in the 5,000 block of Lake Osborne Drive. I'm giving the details because this is in our neighborhood here, okay? And you hear a lot of callers who call in from Lake Worth. And I think the community here needs to know what's going on. The abduction occurred at 1 a.m. Monday in a residential area in the 5,000 block of Lake Osborne Drive, which is near John Prince Park, just west of I-95. Thankfully, the victim was able to escape and flag down a passerby to help her, but not until after they kidnapped her and twice sexually assaulted her, right? The sheriff's office spokesperson did not have the 2 locations of the assault at the time, and also the police reports, as of the writing of every story I found, have not yet been were not made available to the press. Andre Felipe Morales, 29, Darinel Ordonez Jimenez, age 30, and Marcos Felipe Ramirez, 31, were arrested and booked into the Palm Beach County Jail around 7 p.m. Monday. Their bond was set at $200,000 each. Next court date, April 10th. Felipe Morales is facing charges of sexual assault and false imprisonment. The others are being held on 2 counts of felony criminal conspiracy. Again, the arrest reports at the time of all the stories that have been written were not yet made available by the clerk of court. Elisa Suarez, who was picking up trash in the park where the abduction happened, says it's usually calm. There's a lake there. It's a beautiful park, by the way, this park. She says this is a quiet, peaceful area. Another one was interviewed. She said she's worried about her kids because they play outside in that park. She says, I didn't hear anything. No sirens, no screams, no nothing. This is Joe Biden. This is the Democrats. This is what they're doing to us. You're on the air. What's your name?
Yeah, good morning.
Hey, Richie.
Unbelievable what's happening. It's happening all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
This is local now for us. It's a local story getting national attention. We're about to have a national story giving our local news, because not only has he lost control over the southern border of the border of Mexico, he doesn't give a damn about people. He really doesn't. He's infiltrated this country with all these people.
See, Richie, what's going on here is these violent Venezuelan gangs are being brought here by the Biden administration because they're trying to turn Florida blue. So they're transporting illegals here in large numbers, by the tens of thousands probably, throughout Florida, and they just, where do you want to go? And they fly you there. They want to go to Miami.
They're the newcomers. I mean,
yeah.
President Trump said that they're not sending their best, and they condemned him. Now I'm going to say this to you. Did you see Matt Gaetz yesterday question the Biden administration for what's about to happen with the barbecue? You know barbecue. You know who barbecue?
Yeah, he's the Prime Minister of Haiti.
The one that eats people.
Yeah.
Eat people.
His name's Barbecue. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They eat children, folks.
Yeah.
Away. And they had the sheriff of Indian River yesterday said that, I don't know what we're going to do because if they don't stop them and turn them back, which they're probably going to get escorted into Florida, they're going to be all over.
I'm telling you what's going on. I was talking about this on the show yesterday. The Pentagon is getting ready to transport Haitians to Florida. And they'll probably send down cruise ships. Now, this is cruise season. The weather's nice. This time of year, all the cruise ships return to Florida from like Europe and stuff. So there's a lot more. They'll probably send down cruise ships to Haiti and bring them back here by ships. And because they want, so they're bringing cannibals, voodoo practitioners, and Venezuela. I'm not kidding. And you got to laugh. I mean, what the hell?
It's crazy. Our quality of life here is going into the toilet.
There's yesterday, Venezuela just emptied out a prison, and they got the prisoners in a caravan heading to Texas.
Yeah. Brian knows that I moved north of Hollywood, Florida, because Hollywood turned into a pit.
Yeah.
Miami. And now I'm concerned. They were saying that the beaches here, you see where Brian lives, folks. Brian lives in an area where the beaches are lit up and there are people on the beaches. The Treasure Coast, where I live, is pristine beaches with no lights, and you have turtles that are turtle nests all over the place, little sea turtles. So there's absolutely no lights, and these smugglers will be bringing these people to our shore.
Yes,
boatloads
from the Bahamas.
Yeah, we're gonna have cannibals here now.
I'm not, And by the way, guys, listen. I was talking about this I was talking about this at the end of yesterday's show. Florida used to be a blue state. Florida voted for Obama twice, Bill Clinton twice, and was a strong Democrat state. Then it became a toss-up state. Now it's strongly red, and Florida is expected in the next census or two to become the most populated state, greater than California. Okay, so Biden and the Democrats are trying to turn Florida blue. So they're bringing the illegals from the southern border here. Now they're going to try to empty out Haiti and bring the Haitians here. Now, we have a lot of Haitians in South Florida, and they're good people, generally conservative. But the ones that are left are the anarchist, criminal cannibals. And those are the people they're bringing here now.
Absolutely. It's unbelievable, Brian. I mean, our beautiful Florida is now getting hit. Everywhere we go is getting hit with this crap, and it's all over the country. If anybody in this country thinks they're safe right now, I think there's not only the getaways. They say that the more people they've had, like 38 states population.
That's right, and I'm going to tell you today. This show today is what I'm talking about with this woman who was abducted and raped from the park in Lake Worth. And what the sheriff pointed out, okay? And remember, he's the point man for Homeland Security in all of South Florida, so he knows what's going on with these gangs in Miami. And Richie, these Miami gangs, they come to Palm Beach County to do crime because they don't want to get people. They don't like to do crime in their neighborhood, so they don't get ID'd. Okay, so they come up here to do their crime. And today's show, this is a public service. And our local news, undocumented immigrants, they're illegal, they're terrorists. And
listen, they haven't mentioned it here, but we had two Spanish Jews come down from Melbourne, and they went to, I believe they went to Fellsmere, and another Spanish gentleman shot and killed both of them on his lawn because he was stealing money from iffy pens. And I bet you they were illegal too. The news covers everything up. It's just an amazing thing to me what's happening in this.
Well, what's happening here is they've turned. Every state is dealing with what we're talking about here. This is not, obviously this is in my neck of the woods here, so it's a little more personal. But I really think that it's not safe for women to be out alone. right now in this community.
Brian, the Haitian gangs are just as bad as the Venezuelan gangs. And they have automatic. They're ruthless and they eat people, folks. And it's
They do.
It's not a.
Yeah.
I mean, cannibalism. Can you imagine in the 2024 they're eating children?
See, here's the thing about Haiti. Haiti has been in anarchy for as long as I can remember. This is not new. This is a crisis that's being overblown because they want to bring the Haitians to Florida in the effort to turn Florida blue. Guys, that's that. Yeah.
That case called them out. She had no answer from that case. She danced around it because she knows they're going to let him in. This is just unbelievable.
Well, and DeSantis is deploying. I don't know how he's going to stop it. With the way that they get here, through typically the Bahamas. Okay, they'll send them to the Bahamas, and Richie's right. They'll bring them across mostly in the Treasure Coast because it's not. It's dark. There's not as many people there. And but they come from, they take them to the Bahamas typically, and look at what's going on in the Bahamas lately, okay? I mean, the crime wave in the Bahamas, so they got a lot of allies over there to help them.
Real quick, in 1978, I'm going back, folks, when I was driving a bus, they had a big invasion from Haiti. We had a refrigerator truck parked with the buses with 38 bodies on them from Broward County.
Yeah.
Medical examiner, because they died. They come on boats that are not safe. They don't care.
No, and the Bahamas is only 50 miles from Florida. People don't realize how close it is. We have a lot of listeners in the Bahamas, but the Bahamas is about 50 miles, depending on where you are in Florida. But the Bahamas are, so they go and they come here. So Florida is under attack by the Biden administration. Don't you guys understand this? We're under attack. All right, Richie, take care. And we've had many waves of problems in Florida. This is the first wave of crime where I've been concerned. Really, I've been through a lot in Florida. This is it. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-COCAINE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. I just want to say thank you for Dr. Appleton because I'm from Orlando. It took me 3 hours to go down there. It took my 90-year-old mom. My mom walked straighter than she ever walked in her life. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for such a good example to talk about Dr. Appleton.
That's amazing. So you heard me in Orlando talking about Dr. Appleton and drove to South Florida with your mother to see him?
Yeah, my mom is awesome now. Awesome. No more arthritis, no more pills, none of that. She's going back to New York. She sits on a train for 24 hours. And I'm telling you, no pain. She gets on that train, and my sister, she walks like a young woman.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Call Dr. Appleton and say bye-bye to your pain, too. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. AppletonControl.com.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious. Crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside. Everything homemade. Nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located at Coral Springs, a mile west of University, on the south side of San Paulo.
What's going on here is crazy. This is just insane. This is just sick. I mean, this is scary to me. You know, Florida is being directly targeted by the Biden regime because we're MAGA. I mean, there's no question in my mind. All right.
Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, now if you're in pain, go see Dr. Appleton. He's my chiropractor. He wants to be your chiropractic physician too. His laser away pain treatment works. I mean, it's a miracle. You know, first time I went there, sales guy here from the radio station took me over to meet Dr. Appleton. And Dr. Appleton explained, I told him what was wrong with my knee. He explained to me the laser away pain treatment and how it works and everything. And I was very scared. Like, I don't know, man. I had knee pain since I was like 20 years old. And it's gotten worse and worse over the years. And I said, I don't know. Yeah. And boom, the next day, most of the pain was gone. Then I went back the day after that. Like I had the treatment, skipped a day, then went back the Saturday after for a second treatment. I woke up on Sunday, my knee pain gone, hasn't returned. Been a year and a half. It's the laser away pain treatment works. It's 100% painless, by the way. Dr. Appleton performs all the laser treatments himself, and it works on pretty much every type of pain I've ever heard of. Give him a call, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonChiro.com. Give Dr. Appleton a call, all right? And say bye-bye to your pain. Okay, so the Haitians, you know, what's burning me up here, between this Venezuelan gang and this rape and everything else, or somebody in Palm Beach and Lakewood, and now we got the Haitian thing happening. Florida is under attack by the Democrats directly. The DNC, Joe Biden, whoever's running the government, they are attacking and targeting Florida. They're flying these violent criminals from the southern border here. And now they're setting the stage. What they're doing now in the press with Haiti is if you were, you know, if it was a movie, it's called foreshadowing, right? They're preparing us for the cruise ships that they're going to charter to bring the Haitians here. We're under attack because they want to turn Florida blue. Okay, so what's our great governor doing? Ron DeSantis. Now, this is in the news today. I'm sure you've heard this story. Ron DeSantis will send over 250 additional soldiers in a fleet of aircraft and boats to protect Florida from vessels carrying Haitian asylum seekers. Well, the problem with that is, there's a lot of problems with that, but one of the problems is the United States government is going to transport them here. They're going to call it a humanitarian crisis. They're escaping this civil war. Barbecue, the cannibal, is declared the prime minister of Haiti. So the U.S. government's going to be transporting them here. The conservative governor, this is the news I'm reading from, made the edict Wednesday as unrest in the Caribbean island continued for a second week. The deployment will include 48 National Guardsmen as well as 4 helicopters that will add to an already in-place line of defense along the state's southern coast. Does it make much sense? I know he was in the military and all, a lawyer and all that, Jag. Does it make sense to tell them where you're going to be sending this? And what the hell are 4 helicopters going to do? And what are 250 soldiers going to do when this is being done over the ocean? Florida doesn't have a navy. So that area down there, I mean, you guys know, it's an ocean. So they're going to patrol, I guess, south of Key West. So the helicopters see it, then what are they going to do? We don't have a Navy. 39 officers from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, 30 from the Highway Patrol, and 23 from Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation will join the front as well as a litany of aircraft and drones and 8 boats. So what are the 8 boats going to do? First off, they got to find them. Where do you put them? And the coast is huge. And as I was telling Richie, some will come from south of Key West. Okay? But most are going to come from the Bahamas. They're going to be washing up Broward County north. Some in Miami. I've seen this happen so many times. You know, Governor DeSantis is a Florida guy, but he's not a South Florida guy. The details of the deployment were provided by Governor DeSantis' office. Let's see, is there anything else? Okay, and then he tweeted. This is DeSantis on Twitter. For quite some time, the state of Florida has been dedicating significant resources to combat illegal vessels coming to Florida from countries such as Haiti. Given the circumstances in Haiti, I have directed the Division of Emergency Management, the Florida State Guard, and state law enforcement agencies to deploy over 250 additional officers and soldiers and over a dozen air and sea craft to the southern coast of Florida to protect our state. No state has done more to supplement under-resourced U.S. Coast Guard's efforts. We cannot have illegals coming to Florida, blah, blah. Okay, this here, and listen, guys, you guys know I don't like DeSantis. He lied to us all. He lied to President Trump. And this criticism isn't because of that, okay? This is just showboating political crap. You know, the Florida Straits, for many, many years, I don't know if they still do this. Brothers to the Rescue, are they still around? Brothers to the Rescue? Brothers to the Rescue was a group of Cubans in Miami who flew flights over the Florida Straits looking for Cubans that were on rafts and boats fleeing Cuba, which is very dangerous, even though it's only 90 miles away from Key West, to rescue them. And they couldn't find people. It's so vast. Okay? And I mean, this is just showboating like he's doing something. This really isn't doing anything. What DeSantis needs to do is get off his damn high heels. I'm not kidding. Go to Mar-a-Lago, make up with President Trump, and come out and have a press conference and talk about this violent attack that's taking place right now on Florida that I've been detailing for the last 60 minutes. And demand something be done about it. You know, and you know what we have in Florida more than anything? Boats sitting around going nowhere. I mean, you know, I don't want to see boaters getting involved with the Haitians, because what can you do? If Florida sends boats and helicopters out and they see Haitians coming, they are morally and legally obligated to help them. DeSantis is 4 helicopters. If they see, they can't fly down there, pick them up and fly them back to Haiti or Cuba. They'll have to bring them here. And once they're here, they're here. This is showboating nothingness. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take our break and be back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created. Here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're off to an awesome start. In store for another beautiful day across South Florida. Maybe a few clouds here and there, so variably to partly sunny with great today. Dry, yes, dry conditions. It will be 25 first morning meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach.
Late last year,
Yeah.
working out on the other condo.
Mm-hmm.
Like we do stuff at night to like close up like the umbrellas and stuff so they don't fly away. And I saw a boat just on the shore, like flipped over, like a raft, like a little.
Oh
raft.
yeah.
So I went over and like there's holes in it and stuff like that.
Oh, legals.
Legal.
Where was it at? What beach?
Lake Worth.
Oh, Lake Worth. Yeah.
And when I asked my managers, he's like, yeah, like migrants just
Due west right from the Bahamas.
Yep.
Because how far is Lake Worth from the Bahamas? Not far.
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Not far.
Yeah, it has to be really close. I mean, all I heard was someone noticed that they washed up to shore and they just ran out after that.
Wow. How long ago was that?
A year and a half ago. Like I would probably say 2022.
Mm.
I think. Like late 2022. I think maybe in the beginning of 2023.
Wow.
It took a while for them to even clear up the wreckage.
That's crazy.
It was right behind like it was like crazy.
Yeah.
And you also have one that you got seal next as well.
Oh, okay. I'm going to turn the air down. I'll be right back, guys. It's really hot in here. It doesn't help I'm wearing a jacket, I guess, but it is hot. Let's see, what's the temperature? Oh, it's not hot, but all the equipment. Turn it down lower. I turn it down to 67 degrees. I don't know. I think I should I in the next hour or later this hour play the sheriff again for people. I mean I feel obligated because it's a local story to warn my neighbors here. Well, that's what you get for watching Fox. Everyone knows who Mike Rowe is, Chris. Dirty Jobs. All right, callers on hold, stand by. We're going to start going to the calls now at 1-888-465-2631. During the break, Mike, our board op, said about a year or so ago, he came across a boat of illegals on Lake Worth Beach. Yeah, that's not the south part of Florida, DeSantis. Oh my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Okay, man. My name's Rob. I'm in Deerfield, and I absolutely love Richie. I wait for his call every day, every morning. Hey, he made a great point. In 1978, I drove my mother down here, and I was a Midwestern kid going to the University of Kentucky, and drove the car down, and I went scuba diving because I had my dive license. And drove down, spent the night in my car, and in the morning I swear that boat looked like something out of the Kon-Tiki. It was put together. It was something that was so primitive. And all these Haitians in 1978 were on it. And I'm ripped up T-shirts. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what is this all about? It was shocking to a Midwest kid.
Yeah. Haiti is if you compliment Richie too much, you're going to create a monster, right? Okay, the more good things you say about Richie.
Because he's great.
Oh, I know. I like Richie. I'm the one that puts him on the air. But you're pouring gasoline on a bonfire every time you say you love him. You know, the thing. It's okay. It's okay. The thing about what's happening now, though. Okay, Haitians have been coming to Florida forever. This is not new, and we have a very large and active and very productive Haitian community in South Florida. Okay, and but the Haitians that will be coming here now are not the same type of people. Okay, these are people that are part of criminal gangs. Richie is right when they say cannibals. This guy that's running the place now, Barbecue, is called that because he barbecues people. And it's the people that are coming here now have never lived in a civilized place. It's been an anarchy in Haiti for a couple of decades, pretty much. And it's a dangerous crew of people that have not lived in a civilized society. And you're in Deerfield. Typically, like with the drugs from time to time, the illegals and drugs wash up on our beaches, Deerfield Beach North, through the Treasure Coast area, because they go to the Bahamas first. Because Cuba's, they can't go from Cuba to Key West. So most of it comes from Deerfield Beach north up through the Treasure Coast. It's how it's always been. And this state, the state of Florida, make no mistake about it, this is not an exaggeration. We are being targeted for attack by the Biden administration because they're pissed off at us for being a MAGA state.
Hey man, I'm moving up to Knoxville, Tennessee, because I see this crap happening, and I'm going to go live by my grandkids. And it's a little more calm there, and this is not the old Florida that my mom.
No, it's not. It's bad enough when it was just New Yorkers coming here. You know what I mean? And yeah, I know, right? Oh my goodness! Do you know what New Yorkers like to tell you more than anything in Florida? What are they?
Smarter than everybody else.
No. They like to tell you how much better everything is in New York, even though they're here, right? I mean, you could be at McDonald's having a chicken McNugget, and they'll tell you the McNuggets are better in New York. Then why aren't you there? Go back. But I miss the days when the invasion of New Yorkers was the problem. You know what I mean? What our sheriff here in Palm Beach County, Rick Bradshaw, when I saw that press conference yesterday, it just scared the hell out of me. I'm sorry,
Did a great job.
I'm gonna play that again later in the show because I feel a moral obligation and a responsibility because this is our local community to inform our local community the dangers that Biden is putting us in right now. And he doesn't care because this is a red state, even though there's a lot of Democrats here, okay? And these counties, Palm Beach County is a Democrat county. Miami's a Democrat county. Broward's a Democrat county. But you Democrats, because you live in a red state, you've got to be punished too and suffer because they need to turn Florida blue. And what they want to do is not just bring more people here, they want to drive someone like you out.
Now, Tom sticker on my car. I just talked to my lady friend down here.
You're going to miss Florida. You're not going to like it.
Dude, I love the sun. I'll come down here for a month, but then I'll have my place up there.
All right, I appreciate the call. Take care. All right, goodness. But that's what they want. They want people like him to leave and replace us with this. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in New York, and I left New York. I couldn't stand New York. I had to come to Florida, but now Florida is becoming just as bad as New York. And
oh my goodness! And I was once at Publix, and I heard this lady ask the cashier for some orange juice, and they didn't have this brand of orange. Now keep in mind, we're in Florida, where we have the best oranges and orange juice on the planet. And, the orange juice, and I'm not making this up. She was telling them, this orange juice in New York that we got is better than what, the Florida orange juice? Are you out of your mind? But anyway, let's talk about what's going on. We're under attack.
Yeah, man, under attack. What is missing here? You get these people coming in, put them in a camp of some sort until we can get rid of them.
No, you instead of flying them to Florida, you fly them back to Venezuela.
There you go.
How about that?
What's wrong? What is missing here? They don't know what to do. I mean, DeSantis is not that stupid. He can't figure this out himself.
Listen, he's got to get over his ego. He's got to get over his ego and get together with Trump and do something about it. I mean, when Sheriff Rick Bradshaw of Palm Beach County, who runs the the point man for Homeland Security in all of South Florida, from Palm Beach south through the Keys, when he says that we have the most dangerous gangs in the world, more dangerous than MS-13 here, that's serious business.
I feel bad for President Trump. He's going to get in the office, and he's got a tremendous job to do, man. This is way too much.
He's not going to sleep. He's not going to sleep for 4 years.
Without him, the country's almost done. Without him, we certainly.
That's right. All right, Doug. I appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Lisa from Pompano Beach.
Hey, Lisa.
I just want to let you know, during one of the commercial breaks, I didn't know any of this because I live in Broward County. But so when I went on YouTube to see, because I watch you on YouTube. So I went over there to see it. That was very, very scary, very, very scary. And then the next thing that I saw on WPTV, right, was one of those that were arrested. He, back in January, was arrested because he didn't have a driver's. He was driving without a driver's license.
Yes.
And they let him go. Did you see that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. One of the rapist kidnappers, illegals that kidnapped and sexually assaulted this woman in Lake Worth Monday, was previously arrested for driving without a driver's license, and the prosecutor didn't prosecute it. Let him go.
Yeah.
I mean, they got remember they got the Oklahoma City bombers because they had like a taillight out or something minor? The minor crimes get big criminals. If they would have, this woman may not have been raped in Lake Worth if that prosecutor would have pursued that illegal with driving without a license.
Very nice park. It's crazy.
By the way, the guy that killed Lake and Riley got picked up on driving without a driver's license, charged too. And was free. Exactly. I mean, what? Oh, well, I guess we got to give them all driver's licenses. I mean, this is frightening.
I would not have known this story, even though I live one county away, because I don't get it on my local news. It's horrible, and I thank you.
All right, appreciate the call. We'll break and be back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on the...
All right, and it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. What do you have for us this morning?
Well, first of all, our next workshop is coming up next Thursday, the 21st, a week from now at 10 a.m. in our Boca Raton office. At workshop, we do talk about why most estate plans don't work, what needs to be done to set up not just the actual documents, not what actually needs to be in the documents to make it work properly, but what the process needs to be to make it work properly. And so we feel that education goes a long way because we all have blind spots. We all have things that we are not aware of. And when we become aware of some of these concepts that can make a huge difference in how things end up working or not working when the time comes, either the time of incapacity or death, we want to make sure we have the right people in place to make the right decisions, people who are responsible, people we trust, and that we have things set up so that the people we care about are going to be protected. And those are just some of the things that we're going to talk about at that workshop. Protect your assets during your lifetime so you don't run out of money before you run out of life. And the thing is, as you know, Brian, most people think that they cannot qualify for these government benefits. And the thing is, most of us can. You just have to have the information ahead of time and perhaps do a little bit of pre-planning to make sure that you're ready.
Let me ask you, because I was telling you, very good, and the workshop is coming up, and it's free, and it's at your primary office, your main office in Boca, right?
Correct.
Okay, I'll give out the number in a moment. I was telling you earlier in the week, a friend of mine, sadly, he's in the hospital. He's doing okay, but I was worried that his ex-wife, he had made his healthcare surrogate. You know, when people get divorced, they probably really have to update things because I don't know how many guys want their ex-wife to be their healthcare surrogate. Is that the kind of thing that people need to update, Barry?
So, a divorce or major change in circumstances, people may want to change it. Now, surprisingly, I have had some clients who've gotten divorced, and they do keep their ex-spouses.
Wow.
Either as partial beneficiaries and in fiduciary roles like trustees and health care and all that. So it's not that usual, but it does happen.
Yeah, because I was talking to my friend. I said, who's in charge of your healthcare decisions? And he said his ex-wife. And I said, do you really trust her not to pull the plug prematurely, man? And he started thinking about it. He's like, I better look into that. Listen, the workshop's coming up, and it is free, and you get a lot of good information there. Call the Siegel Law Group. They'll give you all the information. 855-FLA 3782. 855-FLA 3782. And online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel will finish out the week tomorrow. Back after this.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, our number 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jersey Mike from West.
Hey, Mike.
Great show as usual. I really, really enjoy listening to you. Let me say something about Haiti. I was there when Papa Doc got shot. Okay?
Oh, my goodness. What year was that? About 85 or something?
Yeah, it was in the middle 80s somewhere. I can't give you the exact year. Anyway, I was there on business, all right? But anyway, it's a very poor country, they say. Probably the poorest country in the world. But you want to know something? It's a very clean country. But there are a lot of terrorists there. And
well, maybe it was a clean country in 85, but not in 2024, man.
I tend to agree with you because I've seen things on TV and it hasn't changed one.
The wave of the Haitians that were coming here in the 80s and 90s are not the ones that are coming here now.
Right, and let me say one other thing about that. I had a good friend. We went to Publix one day, and I was sitting in the car. He went inside. He was in there for about 10 minutes. I forget what it was. And I did a head count, which is different today than it was back in the day when I first came here, about 12, 15 years ago. The head count was, I don't want to sound like I'm a racist, but this is what it was, simply. It's a fact. 3 white people came out, including him, so that's 2 white people plus him. 19 black people came out.
Yeah. You don't want to sound, if you don't want to sound like a racist, why are you sitting around counting the black to white person ratio coming out of a place?
I wasn't doing anything, and I knew it wasn't like that 12 or 15 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
And then debated.
By By who? Black people? What do you mean by who?
By black people.
How do you know they're Haitian?
Because they speak Creole.
So you only counted people coming out who were speaking Creole, which is kind of like French?
Correct.
How do you know they were speaking? How do you know so they walked out speaking Creole, and were you in your car? What were you doing?
I was sitting in my car observing.
Oh my goodness, what a strange thing to do. Where was this exactly?
Public shopping center.
Which one? Which one?
The one on Military Trail.
And where? Military Trail goes on further.
No, I'm sorry. Haverhill Hill Road runs parallel. Haverhill Hill between Roebuck and 45th Street.
Well, that's that kind of area. That's an area where that's the demographic over there.
That way.
Well, I guess the neighborhood's changed. I will tell you this, okay? You said you don't want to. No, I'll tell you this. You said you don't want to sound like a racist. You do sound like a racist, and you're an older guy, but you got some. You grew up in a different time. You've got some racist tendencies in you. Maybe more than just tendencies. You are a racist.
Yeah, but I'm not a Democrat.
No, but I guess you're a MAGA racist then, because you are. Let me tell you. Hold on. Yes. I've been doing this for a long time, and I've gotten calls from people that are racist over the years. This is a hard thing for people to understand. And when I explain this to you, and I'm not talking just to you, I'm talking about people in the listening audience, what I'm about to say to you may not make sense to you, but if you think about it, people that are racist don't believe they're racist. Most people that are no. Okay, so you admit it. Okay, so you are a racist.
Yes, absolutely.
You don't like being around black people.
That's correct, and I did one time.
All the black people? You were a victim of a crime by black people, so you hate all black people.
That's right. Right at the 7-Eleven in front of the VA.
I mean, what's the matter with you? So you hate black people because how many black people attacked you in this? One. So hold on, slow down. You were a crime. I want you to think about this. Okay? I mean, you are. I'm really disappointed in you. I mean, you've said something similar to this in the past, but I let it go. But I'm not going to let this go. You're an admitted racist. Okay, you were a victim of a crime by one black person, and you're taking that and you're taking that example. And you told me about this crime. Is this the one down the street from the Palm Beach VA clinic?
Yes.
Okay, VA hospital. That is a dangerous freaking area. I know that's 7-Eleven. I've gotten gas there, and I try not to. Okay, that's a very high crime, dangerous area. Okay, what you're talking about. Okay, that little area is a bad area. Okay, but no. Hold on. I want to hold on a second here. You were a crime victim. You were victimized by one black person, and you're holding all black people responsible for that?
I was also mistreated by them in the VA themselves.
Okay. So there were some rude government workers at the VA hospital in Palm Beach. So you don't like black people anywhere because you were treated rude. Are you serious?
Absolutely.
Come on, you're pulling my leg.
We have a clubhouse in Lake Worth.
Ugh. No, I don't know. It's not only do I not like it, I don't like you anymore. I mean, when did this happen? When did you join the Klan?
Oh, probably about 10 years ago.
Oh, okay. So this had nothing to do with this incident you told me about at 7-Eleven happened in the last year or so. You called me about it.
Yeah.
So so now we're getting the rest of the story. So you were racist before that.
Absolutely.
You're really in the Klan? Are you serious?
Yes, sir.
And how often do you guys meet?
Moving out of Florida and going to Tennessee.
Good. Mike, you want to help this guy move? How often do you guys meet, and what do you talk about?
I'm going to Tennessee, just like he is.
No. This Florida Klan thing.
I'll tell you what we do. We have a band there. We drink some beer. We have some food there. We enjoy each other.
Oh my goodness.
Be a brotherhood, okay?
I'm not sure. Are you really serious?
Oh, I mislead.
I'm very disappointed in you. I mean, I thought you were a nice guy. I thought you were a nice guy.
I treat my fellow man, other than black people try to hurt me, well. I see a man begging at 45th Street light, I give him a $5 bill.
Oh.
The Lord said, if you come upon you downtrodden, give me your coat.
Where are you from originally?
New Jersey, North.
Okay.
Right outside of New York City, 1.5 hour out of.
Yeah. How long you been in Florida?
14 years.
See, this is what I was telling you guys about. You know, when I first came to Florida, I moved here in 1982. I was 11, and I've been coming to Florida since the mid 70s. And my grandparents retired to Florida in the 70s to Okeechobee. My dad lives in Okeechobee, and I've been coming to Palm Beach County since the 70s because there's no airport in Okeechobee that you can fly into unless you got a private plane. So I've been flying into Palm Beach all these years. And the Palm Beach County that we know now is not the Palm Beach County that used to be here 30, 40 years ago. This used to be like the sticks. Now it's very metropolitan like Miami, but this used to be all country and good old boys. And when I first moved to Florida, the Klan was very active. And in Okeechobee, in particular, blacks did not go anywhere after dark. They weren't allowed. And even here in Palm Beach County, there were things like that. So there are some holdovers that are very few of the things like he's talking about in certain parts of Florida. But you know, listen, I'm just very uncomfortable even talking to you. You know, I mean, this, you know. Yeah, I know. All right. Well, when you move into Tennessee?
I already have a home there.
Oh, well.
Down here.
Are you going there permanently?
No, I'm going to be there.
Oh, that's too bad. All right.
For 5 years.
All right. Take care. Oh. Awful. If you're on hold, stand by. 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call. Those of you on hold, stand by. We'll get back to the calls after the top of the hour. There's a few other things to talk about. I do want to recap what happened here in Palm Beach that I was talking about in the first hour, but that's one of the most disturbing calls I've gotten in years on the program. And it's also disappointing because he calls a lot. We'll be back.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar. WIRK 103.1 HD3 Town and Hurry Broward on 96.9 FM. Boca Raton on 95.3 FM. West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM and in Martin County on 106.9 FM. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. The Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created. Here's the Ole's forecast.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Central Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. Palm Beach
Well, he had a moment of confession there.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. It's showtime in the Paddock Restaurant at PBKC.
It is disturbing.
Corolla for 2 nights, March 22nd.
Disturbing.
Polly Short for 2 nights, April 19th and 20th. We also have dinner shows with Penny Nick's tribute to Tom Petty and Stevie Nicks, April 26th. And don't forget to make your reservations for our extravagant Easter brunch buffet and family fun fair on March 31st. For tickets and info, go to bbkennelclub.com. Here's your True Oldies ABC News Update.
European Union making a decision on artificial intelligence.
European Union's Parliament approving the Artificial Intelligence Act that it says is meant to ensure safety and compliance with fundamental rights while boosting innovation. It essentially establishes obligations for AI based on its potential risks and level of impact. One Italian lawmaker, Brando Benifei, touting the bill, saying it is the first regulation in the world which puts a clear path for a safe and human-centric development of AI. In Adelaide, ABC.
Separately, the U.S. is spearheading the first United Nations resolution on AI, a draft resolution aimed at ensuring new tech is safe, secure, and trustworthy, and that all countries, particularly those in the developing world, have equal access. It tries to close the digital divide between countries and make sure that they are all at the table in discussions on artificial intelligence. I'm Richard Cantu, ABC News.
Offer not valid in all states or prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit,
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
when you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com. On the air since 1977. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Oh, man. I tell you, that was some call. Oh, my goodness. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. The third hour has begun. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, celebrating 47 years on the radio. Steve Kane joining us. Hey, Steve.
Good morning.
You didn't hear the last segment? No, I'm not going to relive it. It was no, it was just on the radio 4 minutes ago. I don't want to go through it again. It was one of the most disturbing calls I've ever received on this show in all the years. I would say it was one of the darkest, most disturbed calls I've. No, it was bad, man. It was bad, and I'll tell you about it after the show, unless it comes up in the course of the calls. But that was really it was disturbing and disappointing too. In that person, it's just bad. It's bad. Just very disappointing. It just, hey, that's, open phones. When you don't screen the calls, all kinds of stuff comes through. I'm glad that happened. But it was disturbing. Oh, boy. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. Our number, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. Sometimes things happen, and it's kind of hard to continue on after, but the show must go on. It was 5 minutes ago. It was on the air. If I can't go through it again. If somebody brings it up when they call in, I'll talk about it, but I'm not gonna. I'm just processing it. I do want to recap, though, what I started the show with, because it's a big story. It's a local story that is about to become national. It's being picked up in the national news. It's a Palm Beach County story that the national news is starting to pick up on, and it is it's an important story that I feel responsible to bring to this audience, because Florida is under attack by Joe Biden in ways much worse than we realized. And there was a woman in Lake Worth on Monday morning at around 1 a.m. So I'm unclear. Does that, when they say 1 a.m., do they mean Sunday morning, Monday? Yes, 1 a.m. Monday morning. She was kidnapped out of a park in Lake Worth by 3 illegals from Guatemala, sexually assaulted twice at 2 different locations. She was able to escape, and yesterday the sheriff of Palm Beach County, who is a Democrat, gave a press conference. And I saw this press conference online yesterday, and I did not know about the incident, and I almost didn't watch the press conference. And his name is Sheriff Rick Bradshaw. He's a Democrat. He's been sheriff for over 20 years in Palm Beach County. He's in his 5th or 6th term as sheriff. I'm sure I could Google and find out, but I know it's either his 5th or 6th term he's in right now. I don't know if he plans on running again, but if he does, I will be voting for him, even though he's a Democrat, okay? What got me to watch his press conference yesterday is I saw the press conference online, and it says Palm Beach County Sheriff Rick Bradshaw speaks about arrest of undocumented immigrants. And I was like, okay, so what's going on? So I watched it, and I played this in the first hour. I want to play it again because this is a very important issue in our community, even though I'm a little off because I'm disturbed by what happened at the end of the last hour. And those of you that heard it know why. So anyway, let me play this. And by the way, this guy isn't just my sheriff in Palm Beach County. He's not just the Democrat sheriff of Broward County, Rick Bradshaw. He's also President Trump's sheriff because President Trump lives in Palm Beach County. So he details the crime and tells us what's going on here. Now, again, this was, call us on hold, standby. This press conference with the Palm Beach County Sheriff Rick Bradshaw was yesterday.
I'm just here to deliver a message. And the message is, don't think for a minute that what happens at the Mexican border doesn't affect us here. Here you have 3 illegals that should have never been in this country.
Okay, now, I want to highlight, this guy's a Democrat, okay? And this tells you, how the Democrats are being red-pilled all over the place. What he calls them not undocumented, not newcomers, he's calling them illegals who should not even be here. It's pretty amazing.
That have committed a very serious crime, kidnapping and sexual battery of a lady. They shouldn't be here. This is the same thing that we saw where the student was killed by the person that was here illegally. That's why we pay so much attention. Folks, our border is the ocean. There's no fence there. We are the fence. That's why we spend as much time as we do and dedicate resources to stopping people before they get here. In all likelihood, these 3 people came through Mexico. They didn't come through here. I can tell you that for sure. We would check in our database. But for them to be in this country, to be able to commit these type of crimes is unconscionable. The federal government has put the American people in jeopardy. Our intelligence section, who works very closely with the FBI, has also identified that the most dangerous gangs in the world are now in Miami from Venezuela. They make MS-13 look like school kids.
Okay, now I want to stop there. This is the sheriff of Palm Beach County, Rick Bradshaw, yesterday in this press conference. He's talking about the arrest of these 3 Guatemalan illegals who kidnapped and raped a woman at 2 different locations in Lake Worth Monday morning. He says that we have the most violent gangs in the world that are now in Miami. They're Venezuelan. They're more dangerous than MS-13, which President Trump said even guys in Homeland Security and Border Patrol were afraid of MS-13. They said they're like ISIS scary, MS-13. These guys are worse than that. And he tells you here they came from the southern border. What I'm sharing with you guys is this. The Biden regime, okay, they are there was a story out the other day, 30,000 plus flights of illegals that Biden's been doing on commercial flights around the country. They're transporting these Venezuelan gang members to Florida in large numbers from the southern border. That's how they're getting here, courtesy of the U.S. government. They fly them here. And what's going on here is they're trying to turn Florida blue. So they're transporting as many of the illegals from the southern border as they can to Florida. And in the course of doing that, you listen to the sheriff here of Palm Beach County, and this guy's a Democrat, Rick Bradshaw. I like this guy. If he runs again, I will be voting for him. I don't know if he's up this time or not. I'm going to play more of this. I like everything this guy's saying. Rick Bradshaw, he's great. He's the sheriff here in Palm Beach County, and he's talking about these illegals that raped and kidnapped this woman on Monday. She escaped, thankfully so, and the 3 rapists are in jail. They say sexual battery. I'm not sure what that means, but they're in custody. He's talking about these gangs being here. This state is under attack. We are being targeted by the Democrats. They want to turn Florida blue. This is how they do it. Maybe rewind a little bit and we'll play the rest of it.
Spend as much time as we do and dedicate resources to stopping people before they get here. In all likelihood, these 3 people came through Mexico. They didn't come through here. I can tell you that for sure. We would check in our database. But for them to be in this country, to be able to commit these type of crimes is unconscionable. The federal government has put the American people in jeopardy. Our intelligence section, who works very closely with the FBI, has also identified that the most dangerous gangs in the world are now in Miami from Venezuela. They make...
Can you hear all this, Steve? Okay.
13 look like school kids.
See?
In Miami. They're going to go where they need to go to do what they do.
Okay. They make MS-13 look like babies, school kids. Okay. They're located in Miami, and if you remember, those Venezuelan gang members that beat up the cops in New York were Florida-based. And some of the pundits talked about this. They said these Venezuelan gangs are traveling to New York to do crime because if they get caught, there's no bail, then they come back to Florida. Here in Florida, if you read a lot of the local crimes, like shoplifting and incidents at malls and such, when they get people, the criminals from Miami come to Palm Beach County often to do crimes. I read a lot of this at the Boca Town Center Mall and stuff. And they do it for 2 reasons. One, Palm Beach is viewed as the area where the money is, because there's a lot of rich people in Palm Beach. But also, they don't want to do crime back where they live because they don't want to be identified. They come up here to do their crime because no one's going to recognize them.
Know if it's Dade, Broward, Palm Beach County. They just go to do what they're going to do, and we're going to have to deal with them. Forget about the 3 million people that came across the border, put their hands up to Border Patrol and says, I give up. They get the cell phone and the gift card and all that kind of garbage. What about the 1.5 million people that they call gotaways? Those are the people that don't want to go to get caught by Border Patrol because they're cartel, they're gang members, they're wanted, they're packing fentanyl. I watched a surveillance video that was taken down in Texas of 10 guys, military age, dressed in camouflage, backpacks. They had carpet on their shoes so they didn't leave footprints, in a military formation coming into the country. What do you think they're here for? They're not here to play the lotto. They're going to do bad things. The director of the FBI testified that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when we're going to have something bad happen here. Because in the 1.5 million gotaways, he's worried that there's people from ISIS, people from the terrorist watch list that could be in the United States. Our agency is still the lead agency for Homeland Security for all of South Florida. And every 3 months we have a meeting to make sure that we're going to be operationally ready for whatever might happen here in South Florida.
So when this guy, okay, so now this Palm Beach County Sheriff, Rick Bradshaw, I like this guy a lot, even though he's a Democrat. When he says the most dangerous gangs, more dangerous than MS-13, are based down here, and they're being brought here, he knows what he's talking about because he's a senior guy as far as a point man for Homeland Security in all of South Florida, which is Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County, and the Keys. So this is educated. This is an educated man on the situation who's been briefed by the federal government as to the situation. And I'm here to tell you it's not an accident that these Venezuelan gangs have been brought to South Florida. They're being brought here. Yeah, they're being brought here to turn Florida blue. You know, I had a call earlier from a guy, not that last guy, but the one before, who said he was moving to Nashville because of the crime down here. They want to drive people out, and they want to repopulate the state, and it's going on. And there's these three, we've got our own Lake and Riley situation here. These three kidnapping rapist illegals from Guatemala that snatched up this woman in Lake Worth, okay? That park that they snatched her out of is a nice family park where mothers take their kids to play, okay? It's a beautiful park with a nice lake and everything else. And they snatched her out of there. And I just saw a story yesterday, Steve. Venezuela's emptying out another prison, and they're putting them in a caravan to Texas. You know, yeah, that's right. I mean, and the fact that this guy's a Democrat is significant, because this violent invasion where people are being victimized every day by illegals in this country is unifying Republicans and Democrats together behind Trump to stop this. Only Trump's going to be able to stop this. No one else. No one else would be able to stop this but him. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be back.
Don't sit on the Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Brian Craig here. If you're a homeowner, business owner, or with a homeowners association and your roof is old or compromised, you need to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting. With a AAA credit rating and bonded up to $10 million, Laporta Contracting doesn't need a large deposit like those other contractors do. Typical deposit
106.9 FM. Hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM. Fort Lauderdale on 96 FM. World.
All right, callers on hold. Stand by. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane is here. Our cruise is coming up. April 27th, we leave on the Celebrity Beyond to the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. 8 days. We leave on a Saturday, return the Sunday after. Our cruise is sold out, guys. I'm sorry if you're not booked. We are sold out. There's a waiting list. If something, but I do want a message for those of you that are booked on our cruise. As of yesterday, you can begin check-in. Okay, you can check in now to board, and you can do this either on the Celebrity Cruise app or on the website. If you have a problem or don't know how to do that, call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot, our travel agent. And you want to tell Lori today, Steve, to book you guys for to do the check-in for the because the way it works on cruise ships these days, it's not like years ago where you just show up at the port. You get to pick a time within a 30-minute window. It's either 30 minutes or an hour. I can't remember. I did it yesterday to when you will board the ship. So you can just show up and you walk right on board. It's a lot more convenient and easy, but but if you wait until the last minute, you won't get your chosen booking time or boarding time. Yeah, it just opened up yesterday, so I already checked in and picked my boarding time. And I take the first one available because I want to partake in the cruise as early as possible, even though we'll be in port still for a few hours. All right, let's just go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Berta from Texas.
Hey, Berta.
Hey, Berta, how are you?
Good morning, Steve. How you doing?
Excellent.
Well, I listen to you every morning, Brian, and I love all your topics. I know the topic today about immigration, but I had to call in about that call.
No, you're welcome to. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to say, a true-hearted MAGA person is not racist. We love all Americans of every color, all nationality. We are true-hearted MAGA people, and we see people equal, not by color, not by race, not by religion, just as Americans. And I'm very disappointed because I'm 56 years old. And I always said I have never heard or met a racist in my life. And for the first time in my life, on your show, a guy has admitted to be a racist and has a facility where all the racists go.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's very disturbing because these kind of people do not belong in the MAGA movement.
Well, here's the thing. The guy he called in and he you think, hey, you don't have to do another hour of broadcasting after that call. I got that call, and it was a disturbing call. I was pressed. He was saying some things that were really bizarre. I pressed him on it, and I think he got frustrated and slipped. I don't think he meant to confess that to us. And yeah, he didn't mean to confess that. And sadly, in my life I have encountered Klans people. The last time in person, sometimes it's been through my line of work, because the Klans people have been guests on radio stations and stuff where I've been. But the last time I encountered one was at the grocery store, at Publix. There was a guy in the milk aisle, and he had a shirt on, and it had a very. I talked about this the next day. It was very scary. He had a faded seal of the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, and it was very faded. And I was probably the only person in the store that saw it and read it. And it, when you're around someone like that, it's scary. It's more than uncomfortable. It's evil. It's evil, and I wish I didn't have another hour to do after that.
I know, it's very upsetting. It's very upsetting. That completely did a side turn because I was going to call you today because I was going to tell you, Brian, didn't I tell you it was only the beginning with these illegals? It was only the beginning. This Texas, what we're seeing in Texas now, we're worried about the narcotics, the narcos. The actual narcos, actual narc members with actual machine guns okay, inside Texas, in our land.
I saw a story the other day. It was on the Texan border. I don't know if it was on our side or their side, but some illegals were taking an Uber across the border into the United States illegally, and the cartels started firing on the Uber with machine guns because they didn't pay the tax to come across the border. I mean, listen, things happen that are not under the control of the presidency. 9/11, Pearl Harbor. I know there's conspiracy theories about Pearl Harbor and 9/11, but what's going on now in this country, this attack on Americans. I saw another story. A 12-year-old boy in Missouri was murdered by a woman who's an illegal from Venezuela. Okay, it's in the Breitbart today. This country, Americans are being raped and murdered and victimized by design. It's not only being allowed to happen. The U.S. government under Joe Biden is cooperating and making it happen.
Right. That's the issue. And what about Florida? Florida just arrested Kelly. Kelly's a big narco lady who people's skin off and stuff like that, who tortured them, you know? And she was captured in Florida.
Well, and now what I was talking about earlier before things got derailed is what's about to happen now with the Democrats with their co-conspirators in the fake news media are doing a lot of foreshadowing about Haiti. What's going on in Haiti is awful, but this is what it's been like in Haiti since the 80s, okay, an anarchy. They are about to, they're preparing for it, and there was a 4-star lady general testifying in Congress about this the other day. The U.S. government is preparing to bring, I don't know how many, but a mass number of Haitians to Florida. They're going to say it's to flee the Civil War, to flee the violence. But the people, there's going to be that's right.
By design.
And it's to turn Florida blue. Turn Florida blue. And and what they're doing is they're getting Floridians raped and murdered. And
only the beginning. And that's what I've been saying. I mean, in Texas, we've been seeing this. Las Vegas, Arizona, of course, it's another border town. They've been doing a lot of home invasions.
Well, I'm in a border town. 3 Guatemalans abducted one of our local women out of a park and raped her. Right. She escaped. I'm sure they were probably going to kill her, but she somehow escaped. I mean, we're all border towns.
Well, in Chicago, New York, all of them are having these issues. So what's to happen, and this is actually what the Republicans did, is they're trying to red pill, shove that red pill down their throat by doing this. And it's actually working.
Listen. This window is the only window we have to save this country. If Biden is reelected, the Democrats will take that as a mandate to continue what they're doing with the border. Okay?
I don't think that would happen, but I don't know what they have up their sleeve.
Listen, we got to run like we're 65 points behind. The future of our country is at stake. By the way, thanks for the call. Yeah, go ahead.
Trump is the only one that can save us from this. To the best of your knowledge, does Donald Trump know about this?
Know about what, this thing in Palm Beach? I'm sure he does. It's in his right. It's down the street from his house. This incident I'm talking about happened down the street from his house, just a few minutes from where the president lives. I'm sure he knows. President Trump knows everything. It's amazing to me when I hear him talk how much he knows about stories. This is just breaking. No one's made comment on this but the sheriff of Palm Beach County and me. All right, we'll take our break and be back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Oh my gosh.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check, brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Come celebrate St. Patrick's Day at the Paddock Restaurant in PBKC with live Irish music and a $30 all-you-can-eat Irish buffet featuring Ireland's favorite dishes. And make your plans now for our extravagant Easter brunch buffet with on-track family fun fair. Get your picture taken with Ace the Easter Bunny. On track, we have a petting zoo, face painting, cornhole, and gym mic. For more information, go to pbkennelclub.com.
Good morning, Brian. It's Lisa, and my husband and I received our My Pillow 2.0 that we ordered with Kane the other day. The buy one get one free, and they're our first My Pillows, and we love them. We absolutely love them. They're just absolutely marvelous. Yeah, I'm so glad. I got slippers on the way too.
Go to mypillow.com and use our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, and buy My Pillow 2.0. Right now, buy one, get one free. You can also order by phone, toll free, 800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane.
Boy, oh boy. Well, there was some show today.
Back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane is here. Greg Kelly did an interview with President Trump last night. Let me tell you, I know you hear me say this every time President Trump does an interview. That was like the best interview I've ever seen with President Trump. And I'll tell you what Greg Kelly did. And I love Greg Kelly, by the way. I've been telling you guys about Greg Kelly since, I guess, since I first found him on Newsmax. Him and Todd Schnitt, that's on earlier, are the two best that have ever been on cable television. They are the best, and Greg Kelly is my favorite by far. And he knows President Trump well because his dad was the police commissioner of New York and all of that stuff. But he did something that is very difficult to do with a interview with President Trump. He asked him very, very good, relevant questions, but things that have not been asked of him before, which is very difficult. Yeah, I mean, it was very good stuff. Like, I remember during, when OJ was over, when the OJ trial was over, which was like the biggest thing that ever happened in broadcasting. It was the golden age of radio, the OJ Simpson trial. And we had Christopher Darden on, the prosecutor, and then Marcia Clark wanted to come on, and he said, don't have him on. He said, what are we going to ask Marcia Clark that she hasn't been asked 10,000 times before, right? It's true. A lot of big newsmakers, they're difficult interviews because they get asked questions all the time. They do a lot of interviews. And when someone does an interview with President Trump, you wouldn't think it's a difficult interview, but it is if you want to be unique, right? And I just thought Greg Kelly was just brilliant. I mean, that was an incredible. I'm going to watch it again today. All right, let's go to the phones. 1-888-465-2631. I do want to, let's take a call or two, then I'll bring up one or two other things. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Ivy.
Yes.
Good morning, Brian.
What's doing?
Hey, oh boy. I didn't even know where to begin, but let's just go back in our mind's eye when we had the conversation about the illegals on Rodeo Drive, and they were closing down shops early at one point. They're all over the street slumming the place. And I was saying, yeah, you know what? Eventually they're going to be everywhere. And I keep repeating myself. I don't like being redundant, but now and again you have to throw it in there. Until it touches you personally, okay, then we will have a change in policy. I have to make an example, and I'm sorry to do this, being a bad guy. I wonder that lady who got accosted there, I wonder if she's Democrat. The reason I say that is I want all you Democrat ladies out there, okay, to think when you go to the ATM machine, when you walk out, the shopping mall, or, you're just taking your grocery home or what have you, going to pick up your kid. You don't know when and where you're going to be accosted. And I want you to think about who you voted for in the last two elections. And are you going to repeat the same?
Well, this woman that was kidnapped, and I know they say sexual battery. What does that mean? Does that mean rape? What is sexual battery? Why is that? What's the legal definition?
No, I think it's just another play on words.
Yeah. Well, regardless of it, they snatched her at 1 a.m. And I know some people are saying, well, what was she doing at 1 a.m.? Well, I'll tell you. First off, it doesn't matter. You should be able to safely go wherever you want 24 hours a day in this great community and state of ours. But who knows? Maybe she was walking her dog. You know how many times I've gone out to walk my dog? Your dog's got to go. I got to take her out. Or maybe she was working late and was coming home. I don't know, but I know this. Those three rapist kidnappers are here because Joe Biden brought them to Florida. All right? That's what I know.
When Noah was building the ark, the people sat around and laughed because it took so long to do, and they were making fun of the guy. So the rain came, and they were scratching and banging on the door. Those people are now going to be scratching and banging to vote for Trump because the other way isn't working, because they will eventually get dropped because we are getting old.
And let me yes, we are. And I'm going to tell you this, guys. This is not new because of this incident. I've been saying this for years. Men, do not let your women go places alone. I've told this to you, Steve, a few times, but today's show really, although that disturbing call I got, that aside, this is a public service announcement today. And, when my daughter was here, if she was going somewhere at night, my daughter, I remember once she wanted to go to Target to get some hair products, right? And it was at night, and it was like 9:30 at night, which is late for me because I get up at 2 a.m. I went with her, and she was annoyed. And I said, I'm not going to let you walk in a parking lot at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night alone at Target. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Women started getting snatched and killed when feminists started telling women that they didn't need men and to be independent. And you look at someone like Laken Riley. Poor Laken Riley was in top physical condition. She was out running, a young woman, and she got murdered by an out of shape slob of a guy. Okay? And it's dangerous for women to be out alone, especially now with what's going on.
Last two things, really quickly. You Democrat men, think about who you're going to vote for, and think about it being your sister, your aunt, your daughter, your niece. Think about that on the next election, okay? Because if you think in the next couple of months we won't see more things happening on the worst scenarios, and the people that you
listen. The sheriff of Palm Beach County, whose department is the point organization for Homeland Security from Palm Beach to the Keys, says that we have hundreds of Venezuelan gangs here. They're the most dangerous gangs in the world, that they make MS-13 look like children. And they were brought here by Joe Biden.
keep in mind, guys, that means they're worse than the Hell Angels. And
Hell's Angels. Donald Trump said, when Donald Trump was deporting MS-13, he told this story many times. Border Patrol people told him that MS-13 are scarier than ISIS. And the sheriff of Palm Beach County said, these gangs in our town are worse than that, than those guys. And they're here because of Joe Biden.
Just a comment on the KKK member. I don't want to use his name anymore.
No.
You remember when Joy Behar was sitting around and writing down license plates for people who weren't wearing the mask? This guy is sitting outside of a building. I wonder how many times he was out of a building, and did he have a pistol? And who was he looking for?
I don't. All right. Okay. You beat too long. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9.
All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. How are the metals looking today, William Youngerman?
Metals looking good. Pulled back a little bit after yesterday's nice rally back from the support levels of 21.50 that we had the previous day. Gold closing out yesterday up $16.90. After trading in a range of $2,156 all the way up to $2,180, closing out today at $2,173.50 the ounce. Silver getting over $25 yesterday for the first time in quite a while, hit $25.22, closed out the day up 88 cents at $24.96. We're going to wait and see if this breakout continues for silver. That could push us towards challenging a $30 number, which would be really big for silver right now. Platinum closed up $18 yesterday at $940, and palladium gained $22 at $1,044. We had the PPI come out today, which came in at twice what they expected. It came out in 0.6, which was twice the expectations. And that gold dropped back a little bit, but only to recover very quickly. And the market is currently at $2,168.50 the ounce. That's down $5. Trading in a range overnight from $21.61 to $21.73 so far. Silver at $25 an ounce right now, up 4 cents. Platinum up down $5 at $9.35. Palladium up $16 at $1,060. So the market's remaining very, very stable above the $2,100, $2,150 number for gold, and $24 for silver. And we'll see if this $25 number can be stay above that today.
Yeah. How's it looking? Are the great American Gold Eagles and those beautiful American Gold Buffaloes, are those good buys right now?
Absolutely, yes. There's the lowest premiums we've had in a long time on all of the gold coins and precious metals. Even though the prices are higher, you're going to save on the premiums, so that's great.
Oh, yeah.
You haven't added to your positions, or you're looking to add to your positions, or you have no gold or silver, today's a good.
Yeah, I remember one time, I asked you a long time ago, you probably don't remember, but I remember, I'd asked you, when do you sell, right, when it comes to the metals? And you gave an answer. It's a very good answer. You said it's time to sell when the reason that you bought the gold or silver, when that reason has been accomplished. Like, you know what I mean? Like, are you saving up for a house, a car, or you get a certain number? To me, it's always buy, and then maybe one day you're retired. I don't know. But this is definitely a buy time with all the metals.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And William Youngman opens up at 10 a.m. You can stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto. You can give them a call toll free, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. And online, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, exciting times. We'll finish out the week tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right. I want to talk about Jupiter Joe Thomas, and annuities, which are amazing. A friend of mine, a few months back, he called me after Joe Thomas joined us on the program. He listens, he's out of town, and he was calling me and telling me how much he loved annuities. And what happened with this guy, a friend of mine, he sold his house, and he made a hefty profit because this is Florida, right? And he took all the money that he made from the house and bought annuities with it. And he was telling me, he's like, this is awesome. He says, I got money coming in every month. He's a little older than me, so he's retired, and it's like it makes it so he doesn't have to worry anymore. Annuities are absolutely amazing. Unlike the stock market, you're not risking your money. Your money is safe. Your nest egg is safe. You're not going to lose money, and you're guaranteed income when you retire. It's a great thing. And Jupiter Joe Thomas is offering just a great thing for you all, and that is free phone consultations. Free phone consultations. No matter where you're located, you can take advantage of this. I'm going to give you his number. It's 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And if you missed the number, just go to his website, jupiterjoe.com. All right? Talk to him about annuities and take advantage of that free phone consultation. All right. You want to go back to the phone, Steve? They're pretty busy. Okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian. How you doing? My goodness, it's just really an impactful show this morning, Brian. One of the quick, and I know the ladies in the audience won't like this. If you're a woman walking around by yourself, you're basically a soft target.
Yes.
They don't want to hear that. But I think everybody, and like you said before, every family's got to tighten up their security, where they go, what time they go, where they're going. It's just an unfortunate thing that this Biden administration has forced down our throat. I've watched a lot of the SEAL team and the Delta Force podcasts and that, and they will tell you to a man ISIS were the worst enemies they had. If we're being told these Venezuelan gangs are making ISIS look like they're nothing, we're going to have a big problem.
And by the way, I was when this story broke, and I was talking to my wife about it. What can you do? And I said, kick him between the legs. And my wife said that she saw a woman who was raped interviewed, and she was kicking the guy between the legs with all her might, and he was so hopped up on adrenaline that it didn't even faze him. So, and don't believe this liberal crap, okay? Boys are stronger than girls. That's why do you think all these cheaters start swimming with the girls' team? And all of a sudden they're breaking world records when they're 250th on the boys' team. And you're not going to overpower even a fat, out-of-shape slob of a man.
You're not. Serena Williams once said that the 100th ranked male tennis player would blow me off the court. I mean, it's just reality. I mean, I'm not saying men are better than women or anything. It's just the reality. If a guy wants to attack a woman and he sees any guy walking with a lady in the parking lot, he's probably going to let it slide because he doesn't want the hassle and he wants a soft target.
Yeah, and I'm very disturbed. These guys, these illegals that kidnapped and assaulted this woman in Lake Worth on Monday. Now, every story I read said at the time of the story The county clerk had not made the reports public yet. I mean, yeah, I understand Palm Beach is a Democrat county. I don't want to accuse them of sitting on the reports because they're liberals. But what the hell? I mean, this show today, I focused on this all day today because I feel duty bound. It's our listening audience in our community, and we should know. We need to know everything about this incident so that people will be safer.
Yes. Anybody thinks this administration is for us, this is just, we're under attack by our own friggin'...
Yes! Yes! This is and I was talking to Richie, the bus driver, in the first hour about Haiti. The guy that's running Haiti right now is named Barbecue because he eats people. He barbecues people. He's a cannibal. And the Haitians that are coming here are not our friendly Haitians that are living here in South Florida. These are people that have grown up in a complete barbaric anarchy in Haiti. These are not your local Haitian. This is not the Haitian family in Lauderdale Lakes. Okay, these are barbarians from the Middle Ages, maybe even the Stone Ages, and the Biden regime is setting the stage to bring them here because they want to turn Florida blue.
Well, I'm sure he's probably already flying them in over the border anyway. Just fly them right in.
See, they tried to do this with the Puerto Ricans after the hurricanes. And the Puerto Ricans, they brought a lot of Puerto Ricans to Florida, and they went back because Puerto Rico's paradise. Haiti is Belle Glade is a paradise compared to Haiti. Those of you that know Belle Glade.
True. It's true.
All right, take care. Yeah, I'll give you the last word before I move on.
One piece of good news, Michael Wiley and Laura Trump have taken control of that Republican National...
That's right.
Cleaning house there. They dropped the hammer on all these rhinos, and now that was the best news I saw last...
Think about it. Lara Trump is President Trump's Bobby Kennedy. I'm amazed by her. She's amazing. She's so smart. All right, take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Steve and Brian, good morning. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey.
Hey, guys. Hey, Steve. Some comments on this illegal immigrant story down there. Hitting close to home. And when that happens, here's the thing. What happened there, and obviously Lakin Riley, which grabbed some national attention, these types of things are happening. They're happening all over the country. And part of this, think about this as well. Not all these women report the rapes. Okay, a lot of this stuff is happening. It's not getting reported. Now, this was reported down there, and hopefully it'll get some more national attention. But up just maybe a month and a half ago in Dorchester, which is South Boston, there was a disabled woman that was raped by an illegal. And in the newspaper, they said that this illegal immigrant was unlawfully present. It's like a tourist without documents.
Mm-hmm.
A paperless, vacationer or something. It's insane.
Well, remember what Biden said in the State of the Union. How many legal people are killing and raping? And I'll tell you this, and this is a very important point, guys. The illegal murderer of Lincoln Riley, like this rapist kidnapper in Lake Worth, both of them were previously stopped by law enforcement for driving without a driver's license and were not prosecuted. If they were prosecuted on those crimes, this woman may not have been raped in Lake Worth, and Lakin Riley be alive.
Now, this guy that was from Dorchester, that happened in Dorchester, he was in court. They had an immigration hold on him, and the judge in Dorchester let the guy go.
Oh, my goodness. Liberal do-gooder, yeah.
And you think that it's obviously a very populous location in Florida. Northern New Hampshire, Coos County, has 31,000 people in the entire county, all of northern New Hampshire. Deerfield Beach, Florida has 90,000.
Yes, yeah.
31,000 people. If it was, sometime just recently or the last few months, whenever it was, there was they nabbed a guy for transporting 9 illegals. Northern New Hampshire.
Listen, I'm going to run because the phones are very busy on this, and I've been blabbing a lot today, not taking a lot of calls. But I will tell you, we are under attack by the Biden regime. This is by design, and I don't like saying that. This is not partisan. This is just what it is. We got a sleazy guy running the country. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Renee from Harlem.
Hey, Renee.
Yeah, I don't know why you're surprised that you've got Ku Klux clowns calling your show.
Well, listen, we've got white racist and black racist that listen. I mean, I can't help who listens.
Trouble.
Excuse me, I say we have white racist and black racist listening. We can't help who listens.
One of them.
Nah. You know, let me tell you, Renee. Let me tell you. If I wasn't on the air, I'd use some other language to describe you because no. You know, how dare you? You know, a real racist Klansman. You heard him, and you want to compare us to that? You know, screw you. Get off the phone. I'm not even going to dance with you today. I mean, you're just an animal. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Great show, Brian. It's Rod, Coconut Creek.
Hey, Rod.
Throw this out real quick. There's a lot of Venezuelans here in South Florida that have escaped Maduro and Chavez, and they're solid Americans.
Mm-hmm.
And they are scared to death.
Yeah.
They know what's going on.
Listen, Richie the bus driver's wife is Venezuelan. You know, and listen, this wave though that are coming here, they're not Richie's wife.
No, exactly. And I feel bad for a lot of them, and they're very pro-American. Anyway, Brian, a great show. I'm glad you're getting this out.
I appreciate it. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, am I on?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Carla from Ohio.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, your wonderful governor has also shared illegals here in Ohio. I just had my news app, my local news app the other day. Someone from Springfield, Ohio, had mentioned that from Florida, they had gotten a couple 100,000 illegals from Florida. So don't feel bad, Brian. We're getting them here too.
Listen. Every state is a border state now. Okay? The story came out a few days ago that the Biden regime has sent over 30,000 flights of illegals throughout the United States. And they fly you wherever you want to go. They got planes going everywhere. It's easier to book with them than through Travelocity. You just say, where do you want? I'm just here from Venezuela. I'm in a gang. I want to go to Florida, rape, kill, plunder, and deal drugs. Okay, Miami, what city? And they'll fly you there. And that's what's going on. We're at the end of the show. Thanks for the call. And where's our governor? Trying to screw Trump still. Okay? I mean, that's it. DeSantis is now working with Pence's chief of staff and some new organization he's connected with. I know. Well, listen, we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. That means open phones, open MAGA Mike Friday. Any and everything on your mind is fair game on Friday's show. Today's been an interesting show, a disturbing show, and an emotional show at that, I'll tell you that. My name is Brian Craig. Steve Kane, of course, is here. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 a.m.
WSFS 101.
All right, guys, I got to run. Make sure you like the video, and if you're new, subscribe, all right? I'll see you later. Thanks for watching, everyone. I do appreciate it.